Fear is the oldest prison, and self-blame is its strongest chain. Yet you do not see the bars because they are inside your own mind, forged from the belief that you are never enough, that you must always bend, apologize, and shrink. This is the secret slavery that no master needs to enforce, for you carry the whip against yourself. The Buddha once said in the Dhammapada, verse 42, "Whatever harm an enemy may do to an enemy, the ill-directed mind inflicts on oneself even greater harm." And you feel this truth each time you replay mistakes, each time you carry the heavy stone of guilt long after it has lost its weight in the world. Why do you do this? Because fear whispers, if you blame yourself first, others cannot blame you. If you live in anxiety, perhaps the worst will not surprise you. But this is a cruel illusion, for in shielding yourself, you only wound yourself deeper. The Agama Sutra, Volume 6, Sutta 22 warns, "One who trembles at shadows will never see the clear light, and so you remain trapped in shadows of your own imagining, fearing rejection, punishment, failure, even when none are present." The shocking truth is that the slave mind is not created by tyrants outside, but by clinging to the false belief that your worth depends on conditions, approval, and the endless pursuit of control. The Heart Sutra reminds us with piercing simplicity, form is emptiness. Emptiness is form, which means that the fears and judgments you cling to are like smoke. They seem solid, yet vanish when you look deeply. You suffer because you mistake smoke for stone, and then chain yourself to it. In this way, fear becomes your secret master, and blame your constant companion, leaving you exhausted, restless, and always in exile from your own peace. But the Lotus Sutra offers a warning wrapped in hope. All beings possess the Buddha nature, which means you are not doomed to live in chains, for within you lies the same capacity for awakening as the greatest saints and sages. Do you see how powerful this is? The slave mind tells you that you are powerless, yet the Dharma reveals you are already free, already luminous, already capable of walking out of the prison whenever you choose. The Majjhima Nikaya, Sutta 140 teaches, when one knows directly that this is suffering, and this is the origin of suffering, and this is the cessation of suffering, and this is the path leading to the cessation of suffering, then one is called a noble disciple with right view. The insight is shocking in its simplicity. Your slavery is not external. It is in not seeing things clearly, in not recognizing that blame and fear are only habits of perception, not truths. When you sit in stillness, watching the mind spin its web, you see how fear arises without cause, how self-blame repeats without logic, how these are echoes, not commands, and in that seeing, the chains begin to loosen. Zen Master Bankei once told his disciples, "The unborn Buddha mind is marvelously illuminating. If you don't obstruct it, it will shine freely." This means that you do not need to become someone else or perfect yourself into worthiness. You need only stop striking yourself with a whip of judgment. Stop bowing to fear's commands and let your original clarity rise. The Fire Sermon, Adittapariyaya Sutta, declared, "All is burning, burning with the fire of lust, with the fire of hate, with the fire of delusion." And you realize that fear and self-blame are also fires consuming your heart. But if you see them as fires, you will not embrace them. You will let them pass, leaving only the coolness of awareness. Imagine the awe of this realization. The prison door was never locked. You were holding it closed all along, thinking you had no choice. when in fact, the choice has always been here, right now, in the gentle act of letting go. Do not mistake this for weakness, for the Diamond Sutra insists a bodhisattva should develop a mind that does not abide anywhere, meaning the greatest strength is to be unbound, unattached, fearless in the face of all appearances. When you no longer blame yourself, you open space for compassion. When you no longer fear everything, you open space for wonder. And in that space, life itself becomes lighter, more luminous, like a vast sky after storm clouds vanish. The secret is not in adding more armor, but in daring to set down the weapons you have been pointing inward. The slave mind dies the moment you refuse to obey its fear, the moment you dare to trust the quiet freedom already flowing within you. So now, breathe deeply and remember, nothing is holding you but habit. Nothing is binding you but belief. And as the Buddha said in the Udana, verse 8.3, there is the unborn, the unbecome, the unmade, the unconditioned. Were there not this unborn, there would be no escape from the born, the become, the made, the conditioned. In this light, your escape is already here. Your freedom is already now. Step into it and live as though the chains had never been real. And if you wish to continue cultivating mindfulness and wisdom, please subscribe and walk together with our community as we explore profound reflections on the Dharma. Each modern discourse will be a step bringing you closer to the truth. May you always be peaceful, clear-minded, and pure on your path of awakening. Farewell, and see you again